How to discipline an autistic child. It can be difficult for a parent to determine the best way to manage their child's unwanted behavior. This can be even more difficult when the child is autistic. It is important that as a parent of an autistic child, you recognize that discipline is more than just punishing a child for naughty behavior, but modifying bad behavior into something more constructive. Approaching discipline in a child-centered way. Don't forget that, above all else, an autistic child is a child. Any given child has their own preferences, quirks, behaviors, and reactions. Any child has things they don't like, and things they do. Being autistic doesn't change this. Any discipline techniques you use should approach difficult behavioral situations with understanding. Focus on providing your child the support they need to control themselves and turn naughty behavior into more constructive actions. Like any child, autistic children can misbehave. Children don't always follow the rules, and sometimes all kids have trouble controlling themselves when they're upset. Being autistic shouldn't constitute a free pass from following the rules, but on the flip side, autistic children also shouldn't be punished for how they express themselves. True discipline involves teaching self-control and how to get your needs met in a constructive way. Be patient. While at times you may become frustrated when trying to understand your child's behavior, it is important to remember that patience is key. With time, with use of the strategies covered below, your autistic child will learn better ways to behave. This won't happen overnight. Remember that autistic children experience challenges such as sensory problems and barriers with communication. This can be very frustrating for them sometimes. Keep in mind that autistic children's listening body language may look different from the listening body language of non-autistic children. Stimming, looking in other directions, and not appearing to respond doesn't necessarily mean that they aren't listening. Stay positively focused. Remember that a lot of discipline involves encouraging the correct behavior in your child, as opposed to punishing the wrong behavior. Work with your child to identify what is not acceptable and present them with alternatives that are covered below. The more you reinforce the good behaviors, the more frequently it will be applied by your child. If the behaviors continue, it is beneficial to see a behavior specialist to bring up your concerns. Handle meltdowns with care. A lot of what you might think of as bad behavior in autistic children comes in the form of meltdowns. This can be particularly difficult to react to with younger children or others who don't use verbal communication to express when they're upset. What may look like a bad behavior tantrum in some can actually be an attempt to express their needs, deal with unsettling sensory experiences, or handle stress. Ideally, you want to create a plan to help teach the child to avoid meltdowns themselves. Classic disciplinary tactics that focus on punishment, like timeouts, can make things worse by upsetting the child further and removing any sense that they have control over their decisions. Instead, teaching a child to take a break and introduce self-calming techniques empowers the child to manage their time and emotions and encourage the child to self-regulate. How to deal with autistic children's meltdowns and how to reduce meltdowns and tantrums in autistic children can help further with meltdowns in particular. Do not yell at your child. Shouting at your child, trying to control them, or displaying too much of authority can make him/her anxious and confused. When facing anxiety, children may become very restless and agitated. They can start showing temper tantrums, yelling or screaming. Therefore, it is important to keep your voice lowered, even if you are very frustrated. It is okay to buy yourself time. Try saying, "I'm really frustrated. I need some time to figure out what I'm going to do about this." They might also show self-harming behaviors like banging their heads against something. Discuss replacement behavior with a therapist, so the child has an alternate way to relieve stress.